This 2024 State of the Hourly Workforce Report, right? It's got some pretty eye-opening stuff about job satisfaction for hourly workers. Like, really makes you think.
Yeah, definitely eye-opening.
Imagine, like, you're running a business right now. How do you make sure your best people don't just walk out the door?
It's the million-dollar question these days, isn't it?
Totally. And this report, it's like a little roadmap. It lays out what's going on. One thing that jumped out, unions.
Yeah, that was a big one.
More than 1 in 4 hourly workers, they want unions. That's huge. What's causing that, you think?
Well, it's not just about the money, is it?
Right, right.
I mean, obviously, wages are a factor, but this report, it connects this whole union thing to something deeper. It's like this feeling of being undervalued.
Interesting. Okay.
When you see that less than half of hourly workers, they don't even feel appreciated by their employers.
It's kind of sad when you put it that way.
It's no wonder they're looking for, some way to feel heard.
Yeah, it makes sense. It's like this whole chunk of the workforce is saying, hey, what about us? So if it's not all about the paycheck, then what is it that these workers are actually looking for?
Flexibility. It's a big one.
Okay, yeah, flexibility.
Especially for the younger generation, scheduling flexibility is a huge deal.
Makes sense, that whole gig economy thing.
Exactly. They've grown up with Uber, TaskRabbit, all that. Flexibility isn't a perk for them. It's just how work is.
It's expected. It's like the new normal.
And it's not just about convenience either. This generation, they're all about work-life balance. It's like non-negotiable.
Right. It's not a luxury. It's a necessity.
And get this, the report, it says that 76%, a whopping 76% of young people, we're talking 18 to 24-year-olds, are planning on leaving their jobs soon.
Wow, 76%. That's a mass exodus. That should have alarm bells ringing for employers.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder, with all the technology we have now, shouldn't this whole scheduling thing be easier?
You'd think so, right?
Yeah.
But here's where it gets interesting. The report, it shows that although 66% of managers, they believe AI could help with scheduling.
Okay.
Only 20% are actually using it.
Whoa. So there's this disconnect. Like, they see the potential, but they're not jumping in. So when we're talking about AI here, we're talking about systems that can just, automatically build schedules and factor in what employees prefer.
Exactly. It takes all the headache out of it, theoretically. And this gap between believing in it and actually using it, it kind of points to something bigger, I think. It makes you wonder, are managers afraid of this tech? Is it a lack of training? Or maybe they just don't want to change how they've always done things. Whatever it is, it just seems like a missed opportunity. They could be solving a huge problem for their employees, but they're not.
It feels like you can't escape the human element. No matter how much tech we throw at it, people, they still want to feel valued, connected.
Couldn't agree more. That's something the report emphasizes. It's about focusing on the human side of work.
I like that.
It's more than just ticking boxes on a to-do list, right? It's about building a workplace where your employees, they feel seen and heard and respected as people.
So here's something to think about. If you were starting a job today, what would make you stay? Something to consider, especially for those who can shape the workplace. Food for thought. All right. So are you ready to dive deep into leadership today?
Absolutely.
We've got some pretty insightful stuff to unpack from none other than Steve Harvey.
You know him, right?
Yeah, Steve Harvey. And we thought it'd be great to, Steve, tailor this deep dive a little bit to all the small business owners and managers out there.
Oh, for sure. So many great takeaways for that crowd.
Yeah. So let's get right into it. What is Steve saying here?
Well, right off the bat, Steve talks about these two kinds of people.
Okay.
The ones who get a job.
Right.
And the ones who give the jobs.
Oh, that's interesting. So right away, he's kind of framing the mindset.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Are you content with just, being an employee? Or are you striving to be the one who creates the opportunities?
Yeah. And even if you're already running your own business, thinking bigger. Expanding, taking on more, giving those jobs to other people.
I see. So it's almost like even within a business, you have those two types of people.
Absolutely.
The ones who are just there to do their 9 to 5, and then the ones who are like, no, how do I move up? How do I take on more responsibility?
Exactly. Yeah.
How do I maybe even spin this off into my own thing someday?
That's the entrepreneurial spirit. And as a manager, you've got to spot that in your team. Who's going above and beyond?
That's a good point.
Yeah.
But is he saying there's something wrong with just wanting a job?
Not necessarily. I mean, it's more like he's making you really think about the implications.
Okay.
he brings up this pretty vivid example of Christmas layoffs.
Oh, right. Yeah.
You know, imagine if you're relying on someone else for your paycheck and then suddenly it's gone right before the holidays.
Yeah. Talk about stress.
Totally. And as a small business owner, I mean.
They're kind of both sides of that, right?
Yeah, you are. You're trying to keep your business afloat so you can give those jobs.
Yeah.
But you also know how tough the economy can be.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Every decision feels like high stakes.
Exactly. And that's where leadership comes in, right?
So is he saying that it's really about taking charge, no matter what your position is?
Yeah, I think so. He keeps saying that leadership, it's not about the title you have. It's about this like internal drive to make things happen.
Okay. So that anyone can be a leader. It's not like something you're born with.
He actually says that, right?
Really?
Like directly, that leadership is this developed set of skills, not like something magical you either have or you don't.
Okay, that's a relief. But I know a lot of us, especially like starting a business or managing a team for the first time.
Oh, yeah.
That fear of leading can be paralyzing.
Oh, for sure. I've been there. It's a lot of pressure, right?
Making the wrong call or letting people down.
Yeah. Harvey gets that. He talks about how fear, you know, keeps people from stepping up. That and the weight of responsibility.
Yeah, that makes sense. But what if you don't lead?
Well, then what? Think about it.
You're stuck, right?
Probably. Like your business might not grow.
Yeah. You could miss opportunities.
Or even worse, you know?
What?
You lose your best people to a company that's, you know, more driven.
Wow. So you're saying the fear of not leading is maybe even bigger than the fear of leading itself?
It could be. That's a good way to think about it, right? And it actually kind of leads into
Leads into what?
that idea of the dash, you know?
The dash.
Like on your tombstone. That space between when you're born and when you die.
Oh, right.
As a business owner, that dash isn't just about you.
It's about what you built.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
business, the people you've helped.
Wait, hold on. Are we jumping ahead a bit? We didn't even talk about that chef story yet.
Oh, right. Yeah, we should probably circle back to that. But, I mean, that chef story is really something.
I know. I'm curious about it.
This former inmate turned his life around because of something Harvey said.
Wow.
And it's not like that was even trying to be, you know, his mentor or anything.
That makes you think, though, right? Like, as a business owner, even our small interactions with our team.
It can have such a ripple effect.
Yeah. Like, am I unknowingly leading them in some way? That's kind of a heavy responsibility.
It is, but it's also like super empowering, you know? You have the chance to really influence people in a positive way, help them achieve their goals. And isn't that what leadership is all about?
Okay, yeah. I'm starting to get the bigger picture here. It's not just about profits. It's about building something meaningful.
Exactly. Both for yourself and the people around you. And that's something we'll keep exploring in part 2.
So that dash thing really got me thinking. It's a good reminder, right? That leadership isn't just about today. It's about, like, the long game.
It is. And that means sometimes you got to make tough calls.
Right. Harvey talks about this idea of leading from the bottom.
Yeah, like being willing to make those decisions that no one else wants to.
Yeah, exactly. Like cutbacks, for example, as a small business owner.
Oof. Yeah.
I mean, those are the things that keep me up at night. How do you balance,
yeah,
you know,
it's tough.
Taking care of your people, but also making sure the business can survive?
Yeah, it's like a constant balancing act. And honestly, there's no easy answer.
Nope.
But you know what Steve says is that a real leader steps up and owns those decisions.
Even the hard ones.
Especially the hard ones. Think back to 2020, right?
Oh, yeah.
The businesses that made it through, especially the small ones, they had leaders who made the tough choices.
Right. They didn't shy away from it.
Exactly. And they communicated honestly with their teams.
And brought everyone together,
yeah,
you know, to weather the storm.
Exactly.
So it's not about avoiding the difficult stuff.
It's about how you face it.
But what's the payoff for me as a leader?
Yeah.
You know, besides the stress and the tough choices?
Well, I mean, besides seeing your business succeed, which is a pretty amazing reward.
Of course, yeah.
Harvey talks about the personal growth that comes with leadership.
Okay. How so?
Think about it. You're constantly developing new skills, right? Building resilience, learning to communicate better. It's almost like leveling up in a video game.
I like that. So it's not just the business that grows.
It's you too.
I like that. Okay, so it's like personal and professional growth all rolled into one.
And that benefits everybody. You become more confident, more decisive, better equipped to handle whatever comes your way.
Right. And that confidence kind of like spreads to the whole team.
Exactly. They see you stepping up and it inspires them to do the same.
But leadership isn't always sunshine and rainbows.
Oh, no, definitely not.
You're going to make mistakes. You're going to hit roadblocks.
Well, for sure.
So how do you deal with those setbacks without losing momentum?
Resilience. That's the key. Steve talks about learning from your failures, adapting, and just keep moving forward.
Okay.
Think of it like training for a marathon, Yeah. You're going to have days where you just want to quit,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
but you lace up your shoes and push through because you know that finish line is worth it.
Right. And in business, that finish line could be anything, right?
Exactly. It could be launching a new product, landing a big client, or just, weathering a tough economic period.
Okay. I could see how that applies. But, at the end of the day, I'm just one person.
Right.
How can I possibly handle everything that comes with leading a company?
That's where building a strong team comes in. And, Steve doesn't explicitly say this.
Okay.
But his whole philosophy, it's about empowering others, delegating tasks, sharing responsibility, creating a space where everyone can contribute their strengths.
So it's not about being a superhero leader who tries to do it all.
No way. In fact, trying to do everything yourself, that's a recipe for burnout.
Yeah, true.
A good leader knows their limits and surrounds themselves with talented people who can fill the gaps.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I think as small business owners, sometimes we forget that we don't have to do it all alone.
Exactly. There are resources out there, mentorship groups, industry associations.
Online communities even.
Exactly. Don't be afraid to lean on those networks.
Okay, that's a good reminder. Yeah. It's easy to get so caught up in the day-to-day
Oh, yeah.
that you forget there's a whole support system out there. But, okay, so we've got all this great information about leadership, but how do we put it into action?
It starts with you.
With me.
Yeah. Self-awareness. What are your strengths and weaknesses as a leader?
Okay.
What kind of dash do you want to leave on your business?
Deep.
Right. Once you have that vision, then you can start setting goals and taking those steps, one by one.
So just like those leadership skills we were talking about before, break it down into smaller pieces.
Exactly. Maybe you want to get better at communication.
Okay.
Start by really listening to your team, asking for their feedback, and just, being clear and concise with your message.
Got it.
Or maybe delegation is a struggle for you. So identify tasks you can hand off to others and let them take ownership.
Okay, so it really is about taking it step by step.
One step at a time.
I'm starting to see how all these pieces fit together. The mindset, the action, and just always striving to improve.
And that's the beauty of leadership, is a journey of constant growth.
It never really ends.
Exactly. And the more you put into it, the more impactful your dash will become.
I like that a lot.
Right. This has been a great conversation so far. I feel like we've only scratched the surface of what Steve Harvey has to say about leadership.
Me too. There's so much to unpack.
There is. But don't worry, we'll wrap things up with some powerful takeaways and action steps in part 3.
All right, so we're back. And, throughout this whole deep dive into Steve Harvey's take on leadership, there's this one thing that keeps coming back to me.
Oh, yeah? What's that?
It's this whole idea leading by example,
Yeah, it's not something he explicitly says over and over.
Right.
But it's like woven into everything he talks about.
Yeah. Like, he's not just telling us what to do. He's showing us, taking risks, building his business, owning his mistakes.
Exactly. It's like he's saying, don't just hear my words, watch what I do.
Yeah, and I think for small business owners, that's so crucial. Our teams, they're watching us.
Oh, they are, even when we don't realize it.
Yeah. So, think about it. If you're always complaining about working late.
Right.
But you never delegate tasks.
Yeah, what message are you really sending?
Exactly. Or if you preach work-life balance, but then you're answering emails at midnight. Are you really practicing what you preach?
Nope, not really.
Oof, okay. Yeah, that one hits a little close to home.
For me too.
So it's about those small, everyday actions.
It is, yeah.
More than those big, grand gestures.
Consistency is key, right? But, the thing is,
what?
You're not always going to be on.
True.
You're going to have bad days, make mistakes.
Oh, yeah.
But you know what? Even those can be chances to lead by example.
Really? How so? Because honestly, when those things happen, I kind of just want to, hide under my desk.
Sure, but instead of hiding, what if?
What if?
You just acknowledge the mistake.
To the whole team.
Yeah, explain what happened and how you're going to fix it. That's vulnerability.
Okay.
That's accountability. That's leadership in action.
Okay, yeah, I see what you mean. It's about being human, not trying to pretend you're perfect.
Yeah.
But is there a risk, of seeming weak if you show too much vulnerability?
It's a balance for sure. But, in my experience, being authentic builds trust.
Yeah, I can see that.
People want a leader who's genuine,
Yeah.
even when they mess up. And
Yeah.
as a small business owner, building that trust with your team, it's like the most important thing.
It's like they say, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
There you go. And that caring shows up in how you lead. Are you mentoring your employees?
Right.
Celebrating their wins?
Yeah.
Creating a culture where they feel valued?
So leading by example goes beyond just what you do.
Mm-hmm.
It's the whole environment you build.
Exactly. And that environment reflects your values,
Okay.
your leadership style, your vision for the company.
It's not that legacy we keep talking about, the dash.
It all ties together.
Wow. Okay, we've covered so much in this deep dive. It's been great, but if I'm being honest, a little overwhelming too. Like, where do I even begin to put all this into practice?
Start small. Choose just one area where you want to improve.
Okay, like what?
Maybe it's delegation, maybe communication.
Right.
Maybe just being more present with your team.
Okay, yeah. And then, like we said before, break it down.
Into those little steps.
Exactly.
You could read a book, take a course, find a mentor. The point is, leadership, it's not a destination.
It's a journey.
Exactly. Embrace the challenges, the mistakes, the growth.
Because that's what makes your dash meaningful.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Well, that's about it for our deep dive into Steve Harvey on leadership. We hope this has given you some solid takeaways, some things to think about.
And remember, wherever you are in your leadership journey,
there's always room to grow.
Keep learning, keep trying new things, and keep leading by example.
That's all from us. Until next time, keep diving deep into the knowledge that matters.
You ever feel like your job is just not listening? That's the vibe in the latest State of the Hourly Workforce report. More than 1 in 4 hourly workers are thinking about unions. Not for more money, but because they feel unseen, not heard, not valued. And here's the kicker. 76% of young employees say they're planning to leave their jobs. That's not a drip, it's an exodus. But here's where it gets interesting. Managers believe AI can help with things like scheduling and improving the day-to-day. The tech exists, the solution is sitting right there, but only 20% are actually using it. Why? Fear, habit, lack of training? Maybe we've gotten too used to managing systems and forgot we're managing people. This isn't just about flexibility or fair pay. It's about feeling human at work.
The resume was perfect, but we never called her back. She was a first-gen grad, worked 30 hours a week, made Dean's List once. Her GPA wasn't high enough, so we passed. But GPA doesn't show resilience or real-world hustle. We say we want diversity, but sometimes the funnel is the problem. Rigid interview times, no relocation support, video interviews that assume everyone has a laptop. You're not testing talent. You're testing X's. If we want inclusive workplaces, we've got to fix how we hire, not just who we hire. Diversity isn't a checkbox. It's a commitment. Let's start acting like it.
Okay, so this 2024 State of the Hourly Workforce Report, right? It's got some pretty eye-opening stuff about job satisfaction for hourly workers. Like, really makes you think.
Yeah, definitely eye-opening.
Imagine, like, you're running a business right now. How do you make sure your best people don't just walk out the door?
It's the million-dollar question these days, isn't it?
Totally. And this report, it's like a little roadmap. It lays out what's going on. One thing that jumped